How's it going, everyone? James Huska here with Peak Condition, and so I am going to just tell you a quick story about something that happened this morning, and at the end I'd like to hear your comments and feedback on it. So basically, I was on my way to work this morning, and it was early, so it's 5:30 in the morning, and here in Chicago we have the L, which is the elevated train, and so the second stop we approach, there's a homeless guy that gets on. So first he puts one of his garbage bags, so he has about literally like 9 garbage bags just full of stuff. So he puts one bag in the doorway, and then he proceeds to grab like 8 other bags, and he just loads up the train, right? And then so he takes a seat. If you're not familiar with homeless, here in Chicago there's a lot of homeless people. And so one of the avenues that the homeless use in order to make money is they sell this magazine, and it's called Streetwise. And so I usually like to purchase the Streetwise because they actually get a percentage of that, and it's a job for them. You know, they sell it, and they actually pay, I believe, 80 cents per copy. So they get like the dollar, they sell it for $2. So actually I think they pay 90 cents per copy, and they get the $1.10. So I actually bought one the other day, and I was reading one of the articles, and it was just basically a biography on a homeless guy who lives under a bridge, and he was just talking about how, you know, he's trying to save up for a home, and you know how he's storing his things. So that kind of reminded me of the article, because this guy literally brought on like 9 full huge garbage bags worth of stuff. And so, you know, when he sat down, I was thinking like, man, he just gave a demeanor like he was a hard worker as well, and right away, you know, people are like looking the other way and just looking down. You know, we're coming up on other stops, and people are avoiding our train purposely because they don't want to get on the one with the homeless guy. Something like, man, how can I help this guy? And I usually like to buy the Streetwise magazine, because that empowers somebody to give them a job and helps them with money, obviously. And then there's also food stamps, or I should say food tickets, that you can give homeless as well. So then that way, if you're concerned about where your money's going, you're literally giving them a ticket that they can use to buy some food. And so I didn't have any of those on me. And, you know, I'm like, man, how can I help this guy? You know, if I give him like $1 or $2, like, what is that going to do? And I'm like, what can I realistically give him like right now that would maybe help him? And then so I'm like, maybe if he gets off before me on a different stop, I'm going to help him unload all his things, just to kind of show like, hey man, you know, like, I recognize you're a human being also, and I want to help you. And so he didn't get off. So now it's coming up to my stop, and I have to get off. So I stand up and I go by him, and I'm like, hey, excuse me, sir. And then I offered him $20. The reason why I was going to offer $20 is because I thought maybe, you know, he could use that at a hostel and, you know, stay a night, take a shower. And granted, it's 7 degrees, probably below in Chicago right now, and it's freezing out. It's 5 a.m. in the morning. And so he looks at it, and then he looks at me and he just goes, no. And then he puts his head back down, and he starts to kind of go to sleep. And so now I'm just thinking like, okay, you know, like, how do I help this guy? And, you know, if he's not going to spend it immediately, you could save it or something. So now it's coming up on my stop, and I'm actually debating if I should just like leave the 20 like next to him and just like walk out the door. But then I didn't do that, because then I was just thinking like, that's just so disrespectful, because then I'm not even really treating him like a person, because I'm not listening to what he wants. And it's kind of like, oh, I know better than you. So I just walked out the train, and ever since then, I've just been kind of thinking about what can I do in order to impact and help the homeless, because circumstances like that, and you know, the only conclusion I can come to is maybe, and I'm probably guilty of this as well, like I just don't like anybody helping me. Like I love helping others, but somebody helping me, like I'll be the last person to ever ask for help. And I'm guessing you probably had a similar personality. I just wish I could have done something, and you know, I tried. I feel like it was the best thing I could have done at the time. And basically the conclusion that I came up with is I just need to make a lot more money, and then I need to open up a center that's going to help the homeless train for jobs, or, you know, help them just if they need somewhere to live for a little bit and get back on their feet, something like that. Like something like that is going to make a larger impact. And obviously that's not going to happen overnight, but I'm just trying to think of ways, you know, if something like that comes up, like how can we help the homeless, because I mean, especially in Chicago, it's so cold, literally it'll be with the wind chill like -10 or something, and they're staying out at night, and they could get frostbite, they could die. So anyway, that was the interesting scenario I came across today. So no real conclusion here other than just wanted to kind of share that, and I don't know, maybe give me some feedback as to whether or not you've ever experienced something like that, and maybe some ideas what you think can help the homeless as a whole. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Okay, and we're back here. Coming up, head neutral. Back here. Back in that downward dog position.